All right, let me tell you about the wildest neighborhood drama I've ever been caught up in. My name's Marcus Johnson, and I live in a quiet little suburban spot called Crestwood Heights. For 3 years, I've been chilling in my cozy two-story house on 142 Maple Drive, minding my own business, until this hurricane of entitlement named Linda Harper and her badge-flashing husband, Officer Greg Harper, decided to make my life their personal playground. Buckle up, because this story's got racism, abuse of power, and a comeback so sweet it'll leave you cheering. Picture Crestwood Heights, neat lawns, picket fences, the kind of place where folks wave at each other. My house isn't fancy, but it's got a killer wraparound porch and a backyard I'm proud of. The pre-VYS owners, an older couple named the Wilsons, left me their famous rose bushes and a sweet note welcoming me to the neighborhood. I'm a black guy in my 30s, and I knew MOVYing and that not everyone would roll out the red carpet, but I wasn't ready for Linda Harper. She was the HOA president, a walking stereotype with sky-high blonde hair, designer blazers, and a VYB that screamed, "I own this zip code." Linda didn't just enforce HOA rules. She treated them like gospel, strutting around like she was the queen of suburbia. Her husband, Greg, was a city cop with a chip on his shoulder. Short, stocky, bald by choice, he had this stare that was all about intimidation. Greg loved reminding everyone he was law enforcement, flashing his badge like it was a crown. Off-duty, he'd cruise the neighborhood in his patrol car, keeping an eye on things, but really just looking for someone to flex on. Together, Linda and Greg were a toxic power couple, bullying neighbors into submission with HOA complaints and thinly veiled threats. Most folks played along to keep the peace, but I'm not built like that. Bullies don't scare me, especially ones who think my skin color makes me an easy target. The trouble started when I moved in. Linda wasn't subtle about her feelings. It was little digs at first, comments about property values or neighborhood character. My lawn was always within HOA specs, but she'd leave notes about its height. I'd play jazz at normal volumes, and she'd complain it was disruptive. She even asked if I was renting, like I couldn't possibly own my house. The racism wasn't in your face enough to call out directly, but it was there, lurking like a bad VYB. When I put up solar panels, she whined about aesthetics. My vegetable garden? Suddenly inappropriate for the front yard. A barbecue with friends? She called it a disturbance, even though the Wilsons used to throw block parties. It was clear Linda didn't think I belonged, and Greg backed her up with that cop glare, making sure I knew he was watching. Things hit a boiling point one Tuesday morning in late September. I was sipping coffee on my porch, enjoying the crisp air, when I heard the unmistakable click-clack of Linda's heels marching up my walkway. She was decked out in a neon pink blazer that probably cost more than my car payment, her face set like she was on a mission. "Marcus," she chirped in that fake sweet tone that put me on edge, "I need to talk to you about something important." I set down my mug and leaned back. "Morning, Linda. What's up?" She climbed my porch steps without an NVYT, planting herself like she owned the place. "As you know, I'm hosting the Crestwood Heights Community Gala this Saturday," she said, while VYing a hand toward my backyard. I didn't know, but I nodded, curious. "My backyard's too small for the VY shown. I have bad sight lines for the photographers. I need to use your yard for the cocktail hour and maybe dinner." I blinked, waiting for the punchline. When none came, I realized she was dead serious. "You want my backyard for your party?" I asked. Her smile tightened. "It's not just a party, Marcus. It's a community event. Your yard's perfect, spacious, great lighting, that cute garden. I've already told the caterers." The audacity hit me like a truck. She hadn't asked. She decided. "Linda, I get that you're doing something for the neighborhood, but you can't just claim my property." My answer's no. Her smile flickered, then snapped back. "You're misunderstanding. This isn't a request. As HOA president, I have authority. It's what's best for everyone." I stood up, done with the nonsense. "HOA president doesn't mean you get to take my yard. You should have asked first, and even if you had, I've got plans this weekend." "No." That's when her mask slipped. Her voice lost its sugar, and her face went red. "I find it interesting that you're so uncooperative. This attitude causes tension in neighborhoods like ours." There was a coded threat. She was saying I'd regret saying no, probably with HOA harassment or Greg's badge. Linda, let me be clear, I said, stepping toward her. You can't use my yard. You can't make plans with my property. And you can't threaten me. Leave my porch before this gets ugly. Her mouth opened and closed like she wasn't used to hearing no, especially from someone like me. Finally, she spat. You don't know who you're messing with. My husband won't tolerate this disrespect. With that, she stormed off, Leah VYing me wondering what kind of hell I'd just in VY-ted. That evening, I was in my garage tinkering with my '89 Yamaha bike when heavy boots crunched up my driveway. Greg loomed in the doorway, still in his uniform, his bald head gleaming under the lights. His hand rested on his belt, a not-so-subtle reminder of his gun. Evening, Marcus, he said, voice dripping with authority. We need to talk. I kept working on my bike. Evening, Greg. What's this about? He stepped inside, yin and VY-ted. My wife says you were disrespectful this morning. Refused to help with a community event. I stood, wiping my hands. Your wife wanted my yard for her party. I said no. That's not disrespect. That's my right. His jaw clenched. When Linda's organizing community events, you're expected to cooperate. It's how things work here. Show me the HOA rule that says I have to give up my property. I shot back. His face darkened. Don't get smart, son. I've been watching this neighborhood, and I know trouble when I see it. Trouble? I laughed. Like my jazz? My barbecues? What exactly? He stepped closer, trying to loom over me. The easy way is you call Linda tomorrow, apologize, and let her use your yard. The hard way is I start VY, citing you regularly. The threat was clear. Play ball or face police harassment. So you're saying you'll abuse your badge because your wife can't handle no? I asked. He smirked. I'm saying I take community safety seriously. Problem residents get extra attention. I leaned in. What if I recorded this and sent it to your boss? How'd they feel about you strong-arming people for your wife's party? For a second, he faltered, then doubled down. Recording me without consent is illegal. Not in this state, I said. We're one-party consent. He didn't know the law, or he hoped I didn't. I'm not recording now, Greg, but I won't be bullied. You and Linda can try, but actions have consequences. He glared, then spat. This neighborhood was peaceful before people like you showed up. There was racism, plain as day. He tried to backtrack. I mean troublemakers. Sure. We stared each other down until he backed off, muttering, this isn't over. I knew I'd poked a bear, but I had no idea how far they'd go. Saturday morning hit like a storm. I woke to trucks, shouting, and chaos next door. Peering out my window, I saw Linda's gala setup tents, tables, flowers everywhere. But half the operation was on my property. Workers were trampling my garden, extension cords snaked across my driveway, and a catering station was plunked on my lawn. My tomatoes were crushed. My hedge was a lighting anchor, and strangers were stomping through my yard like it was theirs. I threw on clothes and stormed outside. Hey, I called to a caterer. This is my property. You can't set up here. She looked confused. The lady in pink said it was fine. Of course. Linda had ignored my no and done whatever she wanted. I was telling workers to move when Linda appeared, dressed like suburban royalty in a cream gown that screamed money. Marcus, she cooed, fake as ever. So glad you changed your mind about the gala. I didn't change anything, I snapped. Your people are trespassing. Get them off my lawn. Her smile vanished. Don't be ridiculous. It's just overflow for the community. It's for your ego, and it's on my property. Move it. She stepped closer, reeking of perfume and mimosas. This event's happening, like it or not. I've invested too much to let someone ruin it. The way she said someone dripped with venom. I'm telling you to stay on your land, I said. Her eyes gleamed. Did you just threaten me in front of witnesses? Workers had stopped to watch. She was baiting me, hoping I'd snap. I didn't threaten you, I said calmly. I'm stating facts. Your stuff's on my land. Move it. She pulled out her phone. Greg, honey, get over here. Marcus is threatening me and ruining the gala. He's unhinged. She played the VY Tim like a pro, positioning herself near my porch for maximum drama. Workers kept setting up on my lawn, ignoring me. Then I heard Greg's patrol car roaring down the street. He wasn't in his personal truck. He'd come in full cop mode, with another officer, a younger guy named Officer Torres, trailing behind. Greg strode across my lawn like he was in an MOVYE, hand on his belt. "What's the problem?" he barked. Linda went full damsel. "Oh, Greg, thank God. Marcus is threatening me, disrupting everything. I think he's VYing a breakdown." Greg fixed me with that cop stare. "Marcus, we need to talk about your VY, or my VY, or..." I said, "Your wife's got people on my property. I asked them to leave." "That's trespassing." "That's not what she says," Greg replied. "You've been aggressive." He was buying her story, badge and all. "Marcus, calm down and step away from my wife," he ordered, even though I was on my porch and she was the invader. "I'm on my property, Greg. She needs to step away." He switched to cop mode. "Sir, you're being aggressive. Comply." Linda amped it up, clutching her chest. "Officer, I'm scared. He's so agitated. I don't know what he'll do." Torres looked confused, clearly seeing I was calm, while Linda played it up. "Ma'am, step back. Let us handle this," he said. But Linda wasn't budging. "I don't feel safe. He might attack." Greg puffed up. "Marcus, you're making my wife unsafe. Turn around, hand behind your back." I couldn't believe it. "You're arresting me for standing on my porch? You're detained for disturbing the peace and threats," he said, grabbing his cuffs. "What threats?" I demanded. I asked her to get off my property, but Greg was done listening. This was personal. His wife had been disrespected, and he was putting me in my place. "Turn around, or this gets worse." I knew resisting would end badly, so I turned, feeling the cuffs snap on. The humiliation burned, handcuffed in my own yard, while Linda's workers and neighbors watched. She glowed with VY Tory. "Thank you, officers," she gushed. I was so scared. You never know with saw people like that saw. That phrase again. Even Torres caught it, his face shifting. He was starting to see the ugliness. "Ma'am, we'll handle it," he said. "Check on your event." But Linda stayed, milking her moment. Greg smirked. "Some people need to learn consequences." As they led me to the car, I saw neighbors watching, some shocked, some confused. Mrs. Lee, a retiree 3 houses down, looked furious. Workers whispered, "This is crazy. He didn't do anything." Even Linda's staff saw through her. In the patrol car, cuffed and fuming, I had a light bulb moment. My security system. After some porch thefts, I'd installed HD cameras covering every inch of my property, front, back, sides, all with audio stored in the cloud. Every word, every threat, every lie from Linda and Greg was recorded in 4K. And then there was Mrs. Lee, a retired CIVYL rights lawyer who'd seen the whole thing. She wasn't just a neighbor. She was a legend with a smartphone and a mission. An hour later, Greg and Torres brought me back. Yes, they couldn't find a charge that'd stick. Mrs. Lee was already marching over, her voice sharp as a blade. "Officers, what crime has this man committed?" Greg barely looked at her. "Police business, ma'am." "Step back." She didn't flinch. "Police business in front of the whole neighborhood? I saw everything, and I'm curious about the legal basis for this arrest." Linda, fussing over an ice sculpture, chimed in. "Mrs. Lee, isn't it great we have such responsive police?" Marcus was so threatening. Mrs. Lee fixed her with a stare. "Threatening?" "I saw a homeowner ask trespassers to leave. I didn't see threats." Linda stammered, "You didn't see everything." Mrs. Lee cut her off. "I saw it all, and I recorded it." Greg and Linda froze. They'd been so caught up in their power trip, they forgot they had an audiencia lawyer with EVY Denke. Greg blustered. "You can't record police without permission." Mrs. Lee smiled like she was schooling a kid. "This is a one-party consent state, officer. Plus, citizens can record police in public. It's constitutional." Torres shifted uncomfortably, sensing this was way off. "Sarge, maybe we de-escalate," he murmured. But Greg doubled down. He was disruptive, making my wife unsafe. That's disturbing the peace. Mrs. Lee laughed outright. Asking trespassers to leave isn't disturbing the peace. It's property rights. That's when I dropped my bomb. "Greg, before you dig deeper, my cameras caught everything. Linda's demands, your garage threats, all of it." Greg went pale. Linda's jaw dropped. That's illegal surveillance, she squeaked. No, I said, it's legal security on my property. And it's got your husband threatening to abuse his badge. Torres stared at Greg. Sarge, tell me that's not true. Greg's silence said it all. Mrs. Lee was typing on her phone, eyes blazing. Conspiracy, abuse of power, CIVYL writes violations. This is a misconduct jackpot. Linda tried rallying the workers. Don't listen to them. They're ruining our event. But a caterer, done with the nonsense, spoke up. Lady, we heard it all. You used his property without permission. He said no, and you called the cops. That's crazy. Workers nodded, packing up. We don't want your money, another said. Linda's gala crumbled tense down, tables gone. Mrs. Lee looked up. I've sent the VY to the DA, the police captain, and Channel 5. Oh, and it's on the neighborhood Facebook group. Linda gasped like she'd been punched. Her social empire was toast. Greg, seeing the walls close in, uncuffed me. You're free to go, he muttered. Mrs. Lee wasn't done. You don't walk away from this, officer. You arrested an innocent man, abused your power, and threatened a citizen. Free to go doesn't cut it. Greg's career was over. Linda's reputation was shredded. Weeks later, Greg was suspended, then fired, facing federal charges. Linda quit the HOA, sold her house, and slunk away. Property values? They went up without them. Me? I'm still here, tending my garden, while VYing at Mrs. Lee, who proved angels sometimes carry law degrees and smartphones. Now let's talk. Was I wrong to stand my ground, knowing it'd escalate? Should I have just let Linda use my yard to avoid the drama? Was Mrs. Lee the real hero, or did my cameras steal the show? And what would you have done against a cop and his entitled wife? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're team justice, and subscribe for more stories where the good guys win. Let's get this debate popping.